Hello, I'm Paul Pluta and welcome to Paul Pluta Prestige. Today I'd like to talk about the flagship of the Omega range. And the flagship it's the Constellation. And although the Constellation's been overshadowed in recent times by the Seamaster and the Speedmaster, the Constellation is really Omega's flagship. It's their high-end piece, and I think they've done a damn good job. If you look at some of the vintage Constellations with the pie pan dial, they are gorgeous. And some of my all-time favourite vintage watches, I'd have to put a couple of Constellations in there, because the solid gold 1960s Constellation, they are absolute works of art. And I think they're certainly worthy of praise. The Constellation of recent times, you've had the Cindy Crawford, and you've had the another model which was the Manhattan, very 80s, a little bit dated now, but they were very cool in their day. And I've got to say, the has been a pretty cool watch. The Constellations has been, the Omega has they've tried to bring in quality and niceness to it, and I think praise is due where praise is earned, and I love the Constellation line. Okay, let's have a look at the scoring there. For the brand, I'm going to give Omega 6. For the Status in the range, I'm going to give it an 8. Now you might say, why do I give the Constellation an 8 and the Speedmaster and the Seamaster get 10s? Well, that's really the ones that are so popular in this modern age. The Constellation has fallen out of flavour, but I'm giving it an 8 because I do recognise the history and the contribution it has made in the past. Okay, for the movements, well, these movements often weren't that great. They were just generic sort of machines, but the Constellation, they often went to extra levels of refinement. So I'm going to give it a 7. The overall quality and finish of a Constellation, I'm going to give it a 7. The Paul Pluta Prestige rating on Omega Constellations, I'm going to give it another 7. So if we add all those scores up there, we have 35, and I think that's quite a reasonable rating to have there. The Omega Constellation scores 35.